Hello there, Gunpla fans. TZ Maven here, and it's time for a Gunpla review. Today's kit is a special one. This kit was chosen by a popular vote to be Bandai's 100th Master Grade kit. This is the Master Grade Turn A Gundam from Turn A Gundam. This kit here came out in August of 2007 for the price of 3,800 yen. Before I show you the kit, I'm going to deviate a bit here and talk about the box and its presentation. Bandai put in some extra effort for this release, and it shows right on the box. The blocky mobile suit number is in reflective silver, as opposed to the usual see-through look on most Master Grade boxes. You also get more of this silver around the box for designs and some line art here and there. Although most striking is the embossed gold Master Grade logo. This is actually stamped onto the box, with texture too. It's not just printed on there. What's more, if you flip the box over, Bandai even printed out a full list of every mainline Master Grade kit they have produced up to the Turn A. Kits number 1 to 100. Now I don't know if this was only the case for the first printings of this kit, but this is a pretty nice box, so don't toss this one away. Looking at the manual for a moment, there is a piece from Yoshiyuki Tomino inside. I can't read Japanese myself, so I don't know what it says, but I imagine it's something pretty interesting. Throughout the booklet, you will find some of Sid Mead's wonderful artwork of the Turn A's various details. Other than that, this is a pretty typical Master Grade manual. But wait, there's more. This also came with an extra booklet. This one features a look at the design concepts for the kit, along with some of the CAD models and other various sketches. The rest of the book features some artwork for Turn A Gundam made by some of the various artists involved in the show. It's a nice little extra, and I certainly appreciate it. Alright, so let's get down to the kit itself. This here is the completed kit in its base form. This is a pretty striking representation of the Turn A Gundam, recreating Sid Mead's unique design and proportions quite well. The kit is chock full of panel lines, so be ready to break out those panel lining pens and paint washes to bring out the detail here. The kit is perhaps as color accurate as it can be, and it does an excellent job just straight out of the box. It only uses a couple of black stickers for the side skirts and a reflective sticker to go behind the clear yellow eyes. The only missed spots are the pair of red dots on the upper legs and an area on the beam rifle, but these can be easily painted in. I do want to note that the construction of this kit is a bit different from other Gundams in the Master Grade line. While there is an inner frame of sorts, it's not detailed and is more there to support the kit. In canon, the Turn A Gundam doesn't have much of an internal frame, as its own exterior acts as the frame, with most of the internal space filled with weapons or propulsion systems. This aspect of the Gundam is reflected in the torso of this kit, as it is mostly just a container for the multi-purpose silos and the beam cannon. So let's go over the articulation of the kit now. Despite its unusual design, this is quite a posable kit. I recall at the time when this kit came out that it pushed the current boundaries of articulation in Master Grade with its range of movement that was supposed to appear natural and human-like. My kit here is a bit old, so some of the joints have loosened up over time, so a newer kit may be a bit stiffer than what is shown here. I also want to mention that there are no polycaps used here. This is all plastic on plastic joints. Starting from the top, the head can easily spin all the way around. If you pull it up a bit, this will enable it to look up and down and side to side. The range for the head is actually pretty good. The torso, like the head, can easily rotate all the way around. It has joints for side to side movement and back and forth, like so. All over the front and back of the torso are these various hatches. The ones on the front are for the missile system and the beam cannon. The missile ones are tricky to open and to keep them open. Be careful with these as they can pop off. The beam cannons will require a push from a button on the back to push them forward a bit so you can grab the doors. From there, you can gently pull them forward and expose the beam cannons. You can also completely remove the missile silos if you want, leaving a big empty void in the chest. On the back are the various hatches for the Moonlight Butterfly system. Again, these can be a bit tricky to open, so take care not to force anything here. Of note, Bandai did release a P-Bandai add-on for the Moonlight Butterfly effect parts, nearly 8 years later. Although I have seen plenty of modelers make their own effect parts for this too, and some of them look just as good as the official one. The shoulders work differently here than from other kits. On most kits, they are often attached to a shoulder peg or the upper arm, but in this case they are attached to the upper back of the torso. The shoulder is divided into 2 sections, a back section that is stationary with hard points for the accessories, and a front section that is on a rail-like joint, so it can swivel up and tuck itself behind the upper arm. There is also a small flap on the end that moves just a little bit. This is a pretty neat idea for a shoulder armor, and I really haven't seen anything quite like this in another Master Grade kit since. The arms are typical of most Master Grade kits, with a simple inner frame with parts slipped over on top. There is a small clavicle joint in the torso, and the arm can extend straight from the body. While the arm could rotate all the way around, it will be blocked by the fixed part of the shoulder armor. However, it can still reach its beam sabers. The rotation part of the arm is located at the elbow, and the elbow joint has a double joint giving you a more than 90-degree bend. The wrist is on its own joint, so it can move around a bit inside the forearm. The kit comes with 2 sets of hands, a standard set of posable hands seen on most Master Grade kits with a peg for the weapons, and a pair of fixed-posed open hands. Of note here is the joint for these hands. Unlike with other kits where the ball joint is part of the hand, it's the opposite here, with the ball joint being inside the wrist. Moving down to the skirt armor, of which there is only the front and side skirting armor. The front armor can move up as shown here. The side skirts are on ball joints and can move completely out of the way of the legs. And in front of the waist right here is the cockpit and core fighter. This can come right off as so. It's a simple transformation to fighter mode, with the cockpit rotating up and the skirt armor flipping around on its double joint to form the wings. It's a very straightforward transformation. The legs are attached to the hip via a simple peg and socket joint. I do find the peg is shallow, and sometimes the legs will work themselves out of the socket if you move the legs around often enough, so be aware of this. The upper joint of the legs will allow the Gundam to easily do the splits. However, it won't rotate too far due to the armor. The knee joint is a double joint with a nice bend that is almost a 180-degree bend. In the lower leg, this whole lower section can move back and forth, and as you can see, the thruster vanes on the legs move along with this joint. Additionally, the upper knee joint moves the vanes on the upper leg too. The foot itself is attached at an offset in the leg, so it leans inward. It has some back and forth movement, and the toes and heel move as so, with the toes tucking down completely. Overall, the articulation is quite good. It doesn't compare to newer kits obviously, but for the time, this was quite impressive, and I think it still holds up today. Now onto the accessories. First off, I will mention that this kit does come with a set of dry transfers. These are just basic insignia markings for the White Devil and the Earth Militias, along with some general Turn A logos. Of note, however, they do give you a dry transfer for the green symbol that goes on the forehead of the kit. Since that symbol is in a small recessed area, I would probably not recommend trying to do this. just paint it in with some green paint or use a green marker. That will be much easier than trying to work a dry transfer in. The first accessory here is the Turn A's beam rifle. It's a simple construction, but it does have a couple of gimmicks. The handle can be hidden away by the sliding cover when the rifle is not in use, and the back portion can slide back. This reveals the rotating handle inside that is supposed to be used for adjusting the power output of the rifle from what I have read. As for holding the rifle, the Gundam can hold it well with little issue. It is a bit cumbersome though, like most larger rifles, but it isn't too bad. As for the other mode, this kit is supposed to hold the rifle more like a handheld beam cannon, but this is a bit troublesome to pose with and the rifle often just falls out of the hands. I found it difficult to keep it in a good pose like this. The shield for the Gundam is nothing too remarkable. The grip attachment can slide up and down in the shield, and it attaches to the arm easily enough. It's a solid connection so it won't fall off. Next up are the beam sabers. They are stored in these optional holsters that attach to the back of the shoulders. The saber handles just slide right out of these, and they use these thin beam blades. These are thinner than the standard beam blades you get with most Master Grade kits, and they look quite nice. The sabers themselves will plug right into the hands for use. The last weapon for Return A Gundam is a Gundam Hammer. This is almost identical to the one that came with the Master Grade Gundam 1.5. So you could borrow one of these from another kit and recreate the double Gundam Hammer scenes with the Turn A if you wish. For storing the beam rifle and shield on the Gundam, you get these two adapters. They plug into hardpoints that are just under the backside of the shoulder armor. The left shoulder one is for the beam rifle and it just clips in. The one on the right is for the shield and that just plugs right in. The Turn A Gundam has no problem standing with all of this on its back. The last accessory here is an option part for the torso. It's just a white piece to replace the blue on the chest, so the Gundam matches up with some of the other artwork of the Turn A. You do also get a standing figure of Lauren and a cow. Yeah, seriously, you get a figure of a cow. Unfortunately, I seem to have lost these, but you can see them here on the manual right here. The kit does come with an action-based adapter. This is a bit tricky to use, but you must remove that button piece on the back of the torso and plug this in. Taking that piece out is easier said than done though. Once it's out, make sure not to lose it. With the adapter in, it should fit right into any full-sized action base. The last thing I'll mention here is a few obvious seams for those planning on fully painting. There is a seam around the head, around the knees, the beam rifle, and the Gundam Hammer. Overall, this is a very special Master Grade kit. It still holds up today, and is an above average kit in my opinion. Whether you love or dislike the unique look of the Turn A, Bandai certainly made an excellent kit of this, and it shows. If you're interested in it, I'd recommend it, even for the experience of building something a bit different from the norm. I personally enjoy the look of the Turn A Gundam, and the mysterious allure it has, so this is one kit that I always have on my display shelf. Anyway guys, that'll be it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. Take care.